Right in the middle of Bayer Leverkusen's final training session on Tuesday, something happened that made every Arsenal fan watching the German press coverage hold their breath for a moment. Christian Kofane, the highly rated young Leverkusen striker who has been linked with a move to Real Madrid, pulled up during the open session with a foot issue. He was in visible pain. He removed his left sock on the pitch. The Leverkusen medical staff rushed to him. There were tense moments in front of the watching German press. For a brief period, the situation looked serious. Now, here is why this matters. Kofane is not just any squad player. He scored the winning goal in Leverkusen's 1-0 victory at Hamburger SV recently. He is a player the coaching staff clearly trust in big moments. The timing of a potential injury to him on the eve of the most important European night of Leverkusen's season would have been a significant blow for Kasper Hjulmand's side. But here is the update. Following treatment and a conversation with the medical staff on the pitch, Kofane continued training. And when he spoke at Leverkusen's pre-match press conference on Tuesday, he made his availability clear. His words were direct. He said, and I quote, "I am really excited about the game. Arsenal are a great team. We have trained well and want to give everything we can, so the scare passed. But it was a reminder of just how fragile moments can be in the final hours before a Champions League knockout tie. Now, let us be clear about what is actually at stake in this tie. The winners of this two-legged clash will face either Bodo Glimt or Sporting CP of Portugal in the quarter-finals. And beyond that, the semi-final path could include Barcelona, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid or Tottenham. The road to the final in Budapest runs through whoever survives these rounds. For Arsenal, this is a historic opportunity. The situation is that this club has not reached a Champions League final since 2006. 20 years, 2 decades of waiting, and right now they have the form, the squad depth and the momentum that makes this the most credible tilt at European glory this generation of players has had. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this every single day, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is dedicated to giving Arsenal fans the full picture, not just headlines. Subscribe and stay ahead of the story. Alan Smith on the title race. Let us not forget what is happening in the Premier League simultaneously, because the context around this Arsenal side is extraordinary. Alan Smith, the former Arsenal striker and a man who knows what it takes to win a title with this club, has spoken about whether Arsenal are ready to go all the way and claim the Premier League this season. His exact words are worth reading carefully. He said, "I think they are ready, definitely, they have got the quality there. It is whether they have got the mentality, the ability to hold their nerve." Now, that is a significant statement from someone who lived through the pressure of a title run. Smith drew a direct comparison to the 1989 title win, referencing how Arsenal lost to Derby and drew with Wimbledon in their final 2 home games before that famous last-day victory over Liverpool. He was honest about the nerve required. He acknowledged there will be moments where everything feels like it is falling apart. But here is the part of his analysis that stands out as genuinely important for Arsenal fans. He pointed out that Arsenal have an advantage over Manchester City, specifically because they can rotate players more easily while maintaining strength. That ability to rest key players without dropping quality is exactly what Mikel Arteta has been building over several seasons. And right now, it is paying off. The evidence suggests this squad is deeper and more resilient than at any point in recent memory. Manchester City's schedule. Now let us look at what Arsenal's closest rivals are facing in the coming weeks. Because while the focus tonight is on Leverkusen, the broader picture of the title race is being shaped by a brutal fixture list for Manchester City. Fabrizio Romano posted a breakdown of City's next 7 games. Let me walk you through them. Real Madrid away in the Champions League, last 16 first leg. West Ham away in the Premier League, Real Madrid at home in the second leg, Arsenal at a neutral venue in the Carabao Cup final, Liverpool at home in the Emirates FA Cup quarter-final, Chelsea away in the Premier League, and then Arsenal at home in the Premier League. Read that list again slowly. 2 legs against Real Madrid, a cup final against Arsenal, a cup quarter-final against Liverpool, and 2 Premier League matches, including 1 against Arsenal. The situation for Manchester City is one of extraordinary fixture congestion. While Arsenal tonight have 1 job, 1 match, 1 focus in Germany, City are being stretched across multiple fronts simultaneously. This is not an Arsenal problem. This is a Manchester City problem. And it is the kind of schedule that can break squads if results go wrong. For Arsenal, winning tonight would not only keep the Champions League dream alive, but would add further psychological pressure to a City side that has no margin for error anywhere in that list. Liquid Guna, match preview and context. Now, for some historical context around this specific Champions League tie, the last time Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen met in the Champions League was in the 2002 group stage. Arsenal drew the first leg 1-1, with Ray Parlour receiving a red card in that match. But they turned it around emphatically in the return leg, winning 4-1 with goals from Perez, Henry, Vieira and Bergkamp. Names that still send a shiver down the spine of any Arsenal fan. The current form comparison heading into Wednesday's first leg is equally striking. Leverkusen have managed just one win in their last 5 games across all competitions. Arsenal, meanwhile, arrive with 4 wins and 1 draw from their last 5. That difference in rhythm is not a small detail. In knockout football, momentum is everything. Teams that are finding wins, grinding results, staying focused, those are the teams that tend to advance. The prediction from this particular analysis was Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 2. And while I am not here to simply repeat predictions, the form data that supports that view is genuine. Arsenal are in a different gear to Leverkusen right now, and that matters enormously in a 2-legged tie. Live score minus Arsenal's loss record. Here is a statistic that deserves far more attention than it typically gets. Arsenal have lost just 3 times across all competitions this season from 46 games. 3 losses from 46 games. Let that sink in. To put it in further context, both Manchester City and Manchester United have suffered 7 losses each this season. Aston Villa have 10 losses, Chelsea have 11, Liverpool 12, Tottenham 17, and the most extraordinary part of that Arsenal figure is this. They have played the most games of any Premier League club this season. They have played more matches than any of those sides, and they have lost fewer times than all of them. The reality for the club is that this level of consistency across such a heavy schedule is exceptional. It is not luck. It is not a soft draw. This is the product of a squad that has been built intelligently, managed tactically with precision, and conditioned to compete repeatedly at the highest level. 3 losses from 46 games is a genuinely historic level of consistency. And it is the foundation on which everything else, the title challenge, the European run, the cup campaigns, is built. Wayne Rooney on Arsenal's style. Now, here is a perspective that has been generating real discussion. Wayne Rooney was asked about Arsenal's style of play, and what he said cuts right to the heart of what Arteta has built. Rooney said, "If you watch Arsenal closely now, you realise they are no longer trying to impress people with pretty football. They are playing with one objective, to score goals. They look for quick transitions, counter-attacks, corner kicks and through balls that can reach the opponent's goalkeeper as fast as possible." He then went further, saying that tiki-taka style saw them finish second 3 times in a row. Now they look more direct, more focused and much more ruthless. Now this is important analysis. Rooney is not criticising Arsenal. He is describing an evolution, and he is right. The Arsenal of 3 years ago would play intricate passing sequences, build slowly and often find themselves unable to break down low defensive blocks. The Arsenal of now attacks transitions, exploits set pieces ruthlessly and finds ways to score in games where they are not playing their best football. That adaptability is a mark of a genuinely mature team. The evidence suggests Arteta has completed a significant tactical transformation of this club. FA Cup lower league opponents. Here is a fascinating historical footnote that speaks to the run Arsenal are on this season. Arsenal will face lower league opposition in FA Cup rounds 3, 4, 5 and the quarter-final in the same campaign for the first time since 1951 to 52. That is over 70 years ago. Now, on the surface, some might read that as an easy draw. But look at it differently. Arsenal have progressed through 4 rounds of the FA Cup without meeting top-flight opposition. They have done it cleanly. They have done it while managing their squad across the Premier League, Champions League and Carabao Cup. The situation is that this club is navigating multiple competitions simultaneously and doing so without the typical cup exits that derail title challenges. The weekend match at Mansfield Town, where both Calafiori and Trossard went off injured, was a reminder that even lower league fixtures carry risk. But the broader picture is of a club moving through competitions with efficiency. Declan Rice and the Ballon d'Or dream. Now, this one is speculative, and it is important to present it as such. The question being raised is this. If Declan Rice ends this season having won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Champions League and the World Cup, would he win the Ballon d'Or? It is a hypothetical. None of those trophies have been won yet, but the very fact that the conversation exists tells you something about how Declan Rice is being perceived right now. He is playing at the highest level in the most important matches across the most demanding schedule of any midfielder in European football right now. The reality for the club is that Rice has become the heartbeat of everything Arsenal do. His return to training ahead of the Leverkusen match after being rested at the weekend is one of the most significant pieces of team news available tonight. The Athletic, Arsenal's Champions League pathway. The Athletic published a detailed analysis of Arsenal's projected route through the Champions League, using Club Elo ratings to predict the winner of each tie. And the findings are remarkable. In the round of 16, Arsenal are projected at 62% favourites against Leverkusen. In the quarter-finals, if they face Sporting CP, the projection gives Arsenal a 76% chance of advancing. In the semi-finals against Barcelona, the projection gives Arsenal a 68% chance. And in the final against Bayern Munich, Arsenal are projected at 62%. Now, projections are not guarantees. Football does not follow probability in neat lines. But what these numbers reflect is the genuine strength of Arsenal's squad and their form relative to the remaining teams in the competition. They are not underdogs. They are favourites in almost every projected round. That is a position this club has not been in for 20 years, and it is a position they have earned through sustained performance across the entire season. Arsenal's financial power. Here is a dimension of this story that rarely gets the attention it deserves. No club has earned more in Premier League prize money over the past 3 seasons than Arsenal. The figure stands at £519.2 million. In that same period, they have earned an estimated £262 million from Champions League participation, and a further £11 million becomes available if they beat Leverkusen and progress to the quarter-finals. The situation is that Arsenal are now operating at a level of financial sustainability that has transformed what the club can do in the transfer market and in squad building. This is not money being burned on speculative signings. This is the product of consistent performance delivering consistent revenue, which funds further performance. It is a cycle that is now firmly in motion. The contrast with clubs that have had to rely on outside investment or financial structures that are now under scrutiny is stark. Arsenal are earning their position. Every pound of that £519 million was generated on the pitch. Declan Rice responds to criticism. Fabian Hürzeler, the Brighton coach, made pointed comments after Arsenal's 1-0 victory over his side. He suggested only one team wanted to play football that day. It was a criticism directed squarely at Arsenal's approach. Declan Rice was asked about those comments, and his response was measured, confident and analytically sound. He said, sometimes you are going to have games where it is not going to be that for obvious reasons. 1, if you do not play well. 2, the opposition do something to stop you playing well. We play against good teams, good managers. That is the reality of the Premier League. He then addressed the Brighton game specifically. His words were, we did not play the best against Brighton. It is down to them to find a way to score against a team that did not play well. We kept it strong. An amazing part of our game is defensive solidity. We have got different ways of winning and we will keep using them. That last line is the one that matters. Different ways of winning, that is not a boast. That is a tactical reality. Arsenal can beat you playing expansive football. Arsenal can beat you playing ugly. Arsenal can beat you from a set piece. Arsenal can beat you on the counter-attack. A team that only has one way to win is vulnerable. A team with multiple methods is dangerous. Arteta on Piero Hincapie now. Here is one of the most intriguing subplots of this entire match. Piero Hincapie is an Arsenal player on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. Tonight, he will potentially face his parent club. Mikel Arteta was asked about Hincapie's qualities and his response was clear. He said Hincapie won the Bundesliga in Germany and for his age, he has a lot of games in his legs. He has a lot of experience that we need. That is a manager telling you this player is in his plans for tonight. And Leverkusen sporting director Simon Rolfes added further context from the other side, saying they would have loved to keep Hincapie, that his time at the club was a fantastic success story and that he has matured into a top international player during his time in Germany. A player who knows the Bay Arena, a player who knows Leverkusen's system, their tendencies, their patterns of play. Having him available tonight is a genuine tactical advantage for Arsenal. Arsenal training, the key names back. This is the team news update that Arsenal fans needed most. Martin Zubimendi, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Leandro Trossard, Ricardo Calafiori and Declan Rice are all back in training and available for the Leverkusen match. Saliba missed the FA Cup tie at the weekend with an ankle injury. Trossard and Calafiori both went off during that same match. Zubimendi, Gabriel and Rice were all rested. The fact that all 6 are now back in full training is enormous for Arteta's options tonight. However, it is equally important to be clear about who is not available. Ben White is not in training. Martin Odegaard is also absent. Those are significant names to be without. Odegaard in particular, as the creative fulcrum of this Arsenal side, his absence is a factor. But the return of Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Zubimendi, Trossard and Calafiori means Arteta has his strongest defensive and midfield structure available. That is the foundation. Everything else is built on. Hjulmand minus Arsenal. Maybe the best in Europe. The Bayer Leverkusen official Twitter account posted a quote card from their head coach Kasper Hjulmand that was remarkably candid. He said, "Arsenal are maybe the best team in Europe right now. It is the toughest test, but we are excited by this opportunity. We need to enjoy this big game with our fans and bring our best performance." Now, when an opposing manager calls you the best team in Europe the night before a Champions League knockout match, that carries weight. Hjulmand is an experienced coach. He is not naive. He would not say this to give Arsenal confidence. He is saying it because he believes it, and perhaps because framing it this way motivates his own players to rise to the challenge. But the underlying acknowledgement is clear. Leverkusen know they are underdogs. They know what they are facing. The question is whether belief and home advantage can narrow a gap that the form table and the quality analysis suggest is real. Christian Kofane, pre-match confidence. As we covered at the opening of this analysis, Christian Kofane suffered a foot scare in training on Tuesday, but his press conference appearance and his words put that concern to rest in terms of his availability. He was direct, calm and confident. He said he is excited about the game, acknowledged Arsenal are a great team, confirmed training has gone well and expressed the desire to give everything. The situation with Kofane is worth monitoring because of his importance to Leverkusen's attack. He scored the winner in their most recent league win against Hamburger SV. He is the kind of young striker who can do something unexpected in a big game. Arsenal's defensive unit will need to be fully alert to his movement tonight. This is a lighter moment, but an important one in terms of reading the mood of the squad. Noni Madueke and Christian Nørgaard received the traditional tunnel of slaps birthday treatment from their Arsenal teammates during Tuesday's training session at London Colney. Now, why does this matter analytically? Because a squad that can laugh together on the eve of the biggest game of their season is a squad that is not carrying anxiety. There is no sign of tension, no sign of internal pressure fracturing the atmosphere. That relaxed but focused environment is exactly what you want heading into a Champions League knockout tie. Premier League India posted a comparison between Arsenal's goalkeeper and Manchester City's number 1. The numbers are close but telling. Arsenal's goalkeeper has conceded 22 goals and kept 14 clean sheets. Manchester City's goalkeeper has conceded 23 goals and kept 11 clean sheets. 14 clean sheets versus 11. That 3-sheet difference in favour of Arsenal represents a significant volume of points protected over the course of the season. The evidence suggests Arsenal's defensive structure as a unit, not just the goalkeeper but the entire backline and midfield screen, has been functioning at a level slightly superior to City's defensive organisation this season. Kasper Hjulmand provided a positive update on striker Patrick Schick ahead of the Arsenal match. Schick had recently suffered a muscular issue which meant his availability was in doubt. But the confirmation from Hjulmand that he could potentially return from injury for this game gives Leverkusen a much more threatening attacking threat to deploy. The situation is that having both Schick and Kofane available gives Hjulmand real options in the final third. Arsenal's defensive unit, which includes Saliba and Gabriel when fit, will need to be at their best to contain that attacking combination. Now, here is the section that has generated the most interesting tactical discussion ahead of this match. Hjulmand was not only honest about Arsenal being the best team in Europe, he also raised a question that cuts to the heart of one of Arsenal's most potent weapons. He openly questioned whether Arsenal's set-piece blocking tactics are within the rules. His exact words were, "I am a bit confused by these offensive blocks. I do not know if it is allowed under the rules when the ball is very far away." He went further, saying, "As I understand football, when you do body checks, the ball has to be inside a playing situation. So I am just wondering, is it inside the rules to actually block without the ball being close to you? Creating space, pushing players, pushing the goalkeeper. Now, this is a live tactical debate in European football right now." And Hjulmand was careful to acknowledge that Leverkusen also use similar methods. His concern is about the increasing prevalence of the practice. The reality for the club is that Arsenal have equalled the Premier League single-season record for goals from corners with 16 in this campaign. That is a weapon so powerful that opposing coaches are raising it publicly before matches. Hjulmand joins Brighton's Hurzeler and former Chelsea striker Chris Sutton in questioning Arsenal's approach. And yet Arsenal fans have embraced every question with confidence, chanting set piece again, Olo Ol in the stands. Before the Brighton match, Arteta made his own position clear. He told reporters he is, and I quote, upset that we do not score more from dead ball situations. That is the mentality of a manager who has weaponised a standard part of the game and sees absolutely no reason to apologise for it. And finally, a perspective from one of Arsenal's greatest strikers. Robin van Persie was asked whether he would fit into Arsenal's current team. His response was direct. He said, yes, of course, I believe I would fit in. If you look at me in my prime, I was scoring goals for fun. Arsenal have a very good team now. There is quality, depth and experience throughout the squad. But as a striker, you always back yourself. I would definitely believe I could compete for a place in the starting lineup. Now, setting aside the personal confidence that comment requires, what Van Persie is doing here is validating the quality of this current Arsenal squad by his own standard. He is saying this team is good enough that even a striker of his quality would need to fight for his place. That is a significant statement of praise for what Arteta has assembled. So let us bring everything together. What is the full picture ahead of Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League last 16 first leg? Arsenal arrive in Germany in extraordinary form. They have the fewest losses of any Premier League club this season across all competitions. They have played the most games. They are earning the most prize money in English football over the past 3 seasons. Their key players, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Zubimendi, Trossard and Calafiori are all available after injury scares and rotation at the weekend. They have the tactical weapon of set pieces that is so effective opponents are raising it in press conferences. And their manager has built a squad that has multiple methods of winning, which makes them uniquely difficult to prepare against. Leverkusen arrive at the Bay Arena with home advantage and genuine fighting spirit. Hjulmand is a capable coach who respects Arsenal deeply, but clearly believes his side can cause an upset. Kofane's foot scare passed, Schick could return, and the atmosphere at the Bay Arena in a Champions League knockout match is a genuine factor. But the evidence suggests the weight of quality, form, fitness and tactical preparation sits with Arsenal. This is their most credible run at European glory in 20 years. And everything happening around this club right now, the financial strength, the squad depth, the consistency, the tactical evolution, points to a team ready to take the next step. The road to Budapest is open. Tonight in Germany, Arsenal take the first step. That is your full analysis from Melissa, Arsenal analyst. If this breakdown gave you the complete picture you needed heading into this massive match, subscribe to this channel so you never miss a video. Like this video if you found it valuable and drop your prediction for tonight's match in the comments below. I will be reading every single one. Melissa, Arsenal analyst. See you after the match.